Magandang gabi po sa inyo lahat mga kaibigan. Again, you're watching the BMA Chronicles. Tonight, in our Healthy Wednesday, we are going to talk about the COVID-19 aftermath. COVID-19 aftermath. Okay? So, for tonight, we will be discussing the potential long-term effects of COVID-19. Pero bago yan, atin munang tingnan itong ating video. Okay?
Recovering from COVID-19 means you beat a life-threatening disease, but health experts estimate that as many as 8.4 million Americans survived but haven't really recovered. They still have lingering symptoms months after getting infected.
Well, most people who have COVID-19 recover completely within a few weeks. In a few weeks. That's why the time frame is 14 to 21 days. But to some people, even those who had mild versions, okay, of the disease, continue to experience symptoms after the initial recovery. These people sometimes describe themselves as long haulers, and the conditions have been called post-COVID-19 syndrome or long COVID-19. They're generally considered to be effects of COVID-19 that persist for more than 4 weeks after patients have been diagnosed with the COVID-19 virus. So, ano po itong mga post-COVID-19 conditions? Let's watch this video.
I'm a mother of 4, grandmother of 2, beautiful family. I love my children and my grandchildren. I got ill. It was March 18th. I got really scared because I realized then this stuff was in my body and we didn't know anything about it. And the only thing that I was hearing about COVID was that people were dying from it. And I didn't want to die. My expectation with recovery was I would get better and I would be done with it. And that's been furthest from the truth for me.
I'm in a wheelchair going anywhere more than 5 feet. I'm pretty much bedridden.
I still have heart issues, digestive issues, headaches, dizziness, low blood pressure.
I couldn't walk 3 or 4 feet across a room. Full onset of asthma symptoms where I was having 2 or 3 asthma attacks a day.
I was athletic most of my life prior to COVID. I was working out, doing high intensity workouts. I'm just standing still, talking, and my heart rate's up. And this kind of goes in waves, it waxes and wanes.
My post-COVID symptoms that I've been experiencing are loss of hair, loss of smell, of course memory fog, memory loss, joint pains in different places. What worries me the most is the brain fog because my father, he had Alzheimer's. I hoped and prayed that I never would have to go through that experience. because I watched my father go through that experience, not being able to speak as fast and be as sharp as I used to. That is definitely something that is concerning to me.
I was very fit and healthy before I contracted the virus. Before the spring, I was with my partner's family in Norway, and we were hiking up mountains on the west coast. The most worrying thing through all of this has been they haven't been able to find a reason for why I've been so poorly.
Of course, yung mga nabanggit dyan sa ating video, alam nyo na yan, di ba? Alam nyo na yung mga symptoms ng COVID-19, no? Pero older people, for example, and people with many serious medical conditions are the most likely to experience lingering COVID-19 symptoms. Pero kahit na yung mga young and healthy people can also feel unwell too, no? For weeks and months after infection. And what is the common signs and symptoms that linger over time? Ito yun, no? It include dyspnea, dyspnea, or shortness of breath. Yan yung headache, insomnia, dizziness, brain fog, could not think clearly, hindi siya makapag-isip ng mabuti, loss of taste or smell, difficulties in concentration, difficulties in thinking, depression, fatigue, anxiety, hair loss. Siyempre, pag yung depression and fatigue, hindi ka na makaisip ng tama. Well, sapagkat nahaluan na ng takot yung puso mo. Why? Kasi talaga nakakatakot yung COVID virus, di ba? At hindi lang yan, no? Ayan, nilagay na rito. Others such as cough, joint pain, chest pain, muscle pain, fast or pounding heartbeat, fever, worsened symptoms after physical or mental exercises. Yan po. Yung long-term effects of COVID-19. Now, meron pang organ damage caused by COVID-19. Oo. Although nakikita natin, the COVID-19 is seen as a disease that primarily affects the lungs, no? But it can also damage other organs as well. And this organ damage may increase the risk of long-term health problems. Ganyan katindi ang virus na ito, no? Samantalang sinasabi natin, itong virus na ito, walang buhay ito, patay ito eh. Oo. Mga droplets lang yan, it goes to the ground, and then later on wala na. Pero pag yan, virus na yan, nakakontak ng isang ano mo dyan sa cell mo sa katawan mo, nakakaroon ng buhay yan. Alright? So, ito, ating tinantong video ito.
A comprehensive look at the body's internal organs. This is part of the CoverScan study, which is researching the impact of COVID-19 on people who tested positive for the virus. Some became unwell, others had no symptoms at all. So far, more than 160 people have been scanned, and the preliminary results are shocking. 50% of patients have evidence of damage to their organs. In 39%, the damage was to their hearts, and for 14%, the virus had impacted more than one organ. The average age of the patients was 43, and nearly 80% of them had never needed hospital treatment. We first filmed here in June, not long after the study had begun, and spoke to one of the volunteers who tested positive for coronavirus but had had no symptoms. He'd come along because he wanted to further research into the virus.
How's my blood pressure looking?
So it's been a surprise for Sam Johal to learn the virus has affected his heart.
It's pumping less blood, less forcibly than it used to be, but only by a small amount. But I don't feel it really. I'm hoping it's something I can reverse, something I can fix, just with more exercise, with just healthier living, hopefully. But day to day, I don't feel it at all, which is a surprise. So it's a surprise that these results came out like the way they did.
So aside from the lungs, the heart can be affected. Oo. And it takes months after recovery from COVID-19, makikita mo yung lasting damage to the heart muscle. Oo. Di ba? Hindi mo pa siguro mapapansin niya, pero later on, mapapansin mo, iba na. Alright? Even in people who have experienced only mild COVID-19 symptoms, this may increase the risk of heart failure or other heart complications in the future. Meron pang isang organ na maapektahan dyan. Maliban sa lungs, heart, also the brain. Oh. Sa mga young people, COVID-19 can cause strokes, seizures, Guillain-Barré syndrome. Ito yung Guillain-Barré syndrome, yun ang condition that causes temporary paralysis. Hindi ka makalakad, things like this. COVID-19 may also increase the risk of developing Parkinson's disease and Alzheimer's. Nakikita nyo itong virus na ito. In the long run, kapag ikaw yung naging severe dyan, gagaling ka, pero maapektahan lahat ng organs mo. Especially kung ikaw ay maraming comorbidity. Alright? Adults and children experience multi-system inflammatory syndrome pagkatapos sila magkaroon ng COVID-19 infection. In this condition, some organs and tissues become severely inflamed. Matindi ho talaga to. So let's see. Paano naapektahan ng virus yung brain? Okay? Let's watch this video.
In certain infections, viruses can actually enter the brain. If the brain's immune system reacts, that can lead to swelling, also known as encephalitis. While this can happen with the coronavirus, researchers say it's very rare. Instead, it's more likely that the virus does its damage through an overactive immune response throughout the body. This can also lead to inflammation, which can harm neurons, cells that are essential to cognitive functioning. Here's a closer look at how that happens. The virus that causes COVID-19 usually enters the body through the nose, mouth, or eyes. From there, it can infect the respiratory system, traveling down the trachea to the lungs where it can enter the bloodstream. To fight off this infection, the body sends a flood of immune system cells and molecules known as cytokines. These cause inflammation, which can make it easier for blood to form clots. When these clots build up, they can prevent oxygen from reaching vital organs, including the brain, which can cause cells to die. In the most severe cases, this can lead to strokes. But it's not just the lack of oxygen that can cause damage. Inflammation can also harm the protective barrier that shields the brain, making the organ more vulnerable. The blood-brain barrier does a good job at preventing toxins and pathogens from entering the brain. But new research shows that the coronavirus can infect and disrupt the cells that line the barrier walls. This is called the endothelium. This disruption causes the body's immune system to kick further into overdrive, leading to inflammation in the brain. And this isn't the only way that inflammation can attack the nervous system. Cells supporting the olfactory neurons in the nose can also be damaged by the infection. Scientists suspect that when these cells die, patients might experience a loss of taste and smell. Research from other infections shows that inflammatory signals can make their way up nerves into the brain, causing even more inflammation. These are some of the ways that scientists think inflammation can affect the nervous system, and they could explain why so many long-haul patients are experiencing neurological problems.
My brain doesn't work most of the time, and I can't describe it any better than that. Like, the things I used to love doing, I can't do anymore because I don't remember how. I so badly want to be who I was pre-COVID, and I tried to be that person, and it's just not there.
Wow. Para tuloy may virus na rin ako. Di ba? Nakikita niyo itong mga naapektan organs dito. Matindi, ano? My goodness. Ibang klase po itong virus na ito na dumaan sa buong mundo, di ba? Makikita nyo, aside from those COVID-19 can make blood cells, hindi mo nakita nyo sa video, more likely to clump up. And they form clots also. Now, pag nagkaroon ng malaking clot yan, dumadaan yan sa mga blood vessels natin, pwede mag-cause ng heart attack yan. Heart attacks, stroke. And much of the heart damage caused by COVID-19 is believed to stem from very small clots that block tiny blood vessels or capillaries in the heart muscle. Now, ang ibang bahagi ng ating katawan affected by blood clots include the lungs, the legs, the liver, and the kidneys. COVID-19 can also weaken blood vessels and cause them to leak, which contributes to potentially long-lasting problems with the liver and the kidneys. Kaya nakikita nyo kapag naging severe ang kalagayan ng tao at tataas ang kanyang creatinine level, kinakailangan siya magpa-dialysis. No? Pero pag yan, napunta na yan sa liver, it's over. Usually. Kaunting-kaunti lang ang nakakatakas na pag naapekta na yung liver, bubuhay pa. Kasi pag talaga naapekta ng liver niyan, tapos na yan. Oo. And long haulers also deal with problems with mood and fatigue. Yung madaling mapagod, yung mood mo nag-iiba-iba yan, okay? Oh. Kaya alam nyo, pag mayroong severe symptoms of COVID-19, hindi na kinakailangan pa yung manatili sa bahay. Oo. Kahit moderate lang, dapat na yung hospital. Okay. Upang sila ay maalagaan sa intensive care unit with mechanical assistance such as ventilators to breathe. Oo. And simply surviving this experience can make a person more likely to later develop traumatic stress syndrome, like depression, anxiety. And because it is difficult to predict long-term outcomes from the new COVID-19 virus, in Delta variant, for example, scientists are looking at the long-term effects seen in related viruses. Marami silang kino-compare, no? Such as the virus that causes severe acute respiratory syndrome, or commonly called SARS. So many people who have recovered from SARS have gone on to develop chronic fatigue syndrome, a complex disorder characterized by extreme fatigue that worsens with physical or mental activity, but does not improve even when you rest. The same way may be true for people who have had COVID-19. Although yung SARS, kakaunti lang ang namatay, no? Kakaunti lang ang naapektahan. At kakaunti lamang talaga ang mga cases sa buong mundo. Now, many long-term COVID-19 effects are still unknown. Marami pa. Marami pa yung unknown talaga. Oo. Kung paano ang COVID-19 affect people over time. Over time. Kaya nga, hindi humihinto ang mga pharmaceutical companies and scientists to make research on what's happening. Researchers recommend that doctors closely monitor people who have had COVID-19 to see how their organs are functioning after recovery. Okay. So, ito yan. If you think you might be a COVID-19 long hauler, okay, ang unang-unang dapat mong gawin is see your doctor. Tell your doctor about it. For example, like, okay, wala ka ng COVID, negative ka na. Pero nakaka-experience ka pa ng kung ano-anong mga bagay-bagay hindi mo alam, no? Wala na yung mga symptoms, pero iba na yung nafe-feel mo. Anong gagawin mo? See your doctor. And the first thing your doctor will say is this: go to the lab and have your blood chemistry taken. I-examine lahat yan. Okay? At makikita agad yan sa dugo kung ano nangyayari. In fact, kahit ang heart attack, nakikita yan sa dugo eh. For example, nagkaroon ka ng angina, hindi ka makahinga, and you'll be brought to the doctor. Unang gagawin ng doktor, kukuha ng dugo yan, at itetest yung tinatawag natin troponin. Oo. Pag nakita dyan, makikita dyan kung nagkaroon ka ng heart attack o hindi. You see? Always in the blood. Halos lahat po ng sickness can be determined in the blood. Oo. Kaya alam nyo, wala pa talagang specific treatment dito eh. Oo. Kaya nga nakikita nyo kahit mga vaccines, walang 100% immunity. Pero hindi lang yung ikaw ay salamat, and negative na ako. But what about later? Yung nararamdaman mo, yung nag-iiba yung mood mo, yung madali kang mapagod, o yung madali kang humingal. Samantalang hindi naman nangyayari sa iyo yan bago ka nagkaroon ng COVID. See your doctor. See your doctor. Okay. So, while there's no easy fix inside, ito ang mga bagay na pwede mong gawin to help you. Okay. Number 1 is stay on top of your symptoms. Let your doctor know if they get worse. Yun ang unang-una. But talagang, alam nyo, pagka minsan pinabayaan natin to, nagkaroon tayo ng symptoms, so sinabi sa newspaper o sa TV, o pag-quarantine ka muna at tinan mo kung gagaling yan. Pero alam nyo, ang akin pong palaging sinasabi ito, pag may symptoms ka, simula ka ng symptoms, 4 days later, andun pa rin yan, ano gagawin mo? 4 or 5 days. Magpasok ka na. Doon makikita kung negative ka o positive ka. Okay. Kung positive ka, at andun ang symptoms, Delta variant yan, it is best for you to see your doctor and say, Doc, ito na feeling ko, ito na naramdaman ko, Doc, positive ako, ano ba gagawin ko? Alright? Then, manage underlying conditions. For example, ano yung underlying conditions ko? Diabetes. Heart disease. Ngayon, siyempre, yung aking heart disease would be more of an angina. No? Okay. Kinakailangan, i-manage mo yan. Kaya dapat yan, kung diabetic ka, control. Control dyan. Iinom ka ng... Meron mga tao, ang ginagawa nila, umiinom sila nung... kasi synthetic tong gamot na ito, at ganyan. Kaya anong ginagawa nila? May side effect yan. Kaya herbal lang. Hindi ho kaya ng herbal yan. Kahit na ikaw ay ngumuya ng insulin plant, kumain ka ng okra, lahat ng mga bagay na yan, it is not enough. You have to go to an endocrinologist para malaman mo how you could be able to manage your diabetes. So work with your doctor because, alam mo, endocrinologist, gagawa ng plan yan for you. Kailan mo iinumin yung gamot? How many times you go to take the medicines? O kinakailan ka mag-insulin o hindi na? O dapat anong gagawin mo? Anong kakainin mo? Anong hindi mo kakainin? Alright. Anong sabi ni Robert? I am 36 years old. My first dose was no side effect at all. However, my second dose was I had periodic headaches for several days and my arm was cramping and a sharp pain whenever I do some activities, typing, writing, or whenever I raise it to reach something. What I did was take medications to lessen the pain and took my vacation leave just to rest. This effect subsided after a week. Totoo yan. In fact, ang sabi ng doktor namin, bago kayo magpa-first dose and second dose, 1 hour before, uminom kayo ng paracetamol. Huwag niyong kalimutan yan. Kung di pa kayo vaccinated, no? Ibabaksinate ka. 1 oras bago ka i-vaccinate, inom ka ng paracetamol. Especially kung wala ka pang anti-flu vaccine. Okay? Oh, yan ay bagay na kinakailangan makita nyo, ha? So, number 3, listen to your body. Makinig ka sa katawan mo. Be good to your body. Try to get plenty of sleep. Ako, I'm trying my best na. Oh, meron akong nagsumusukat kung ilang oras ako nakatulog sa isang gabi. I'm trying my best na. Kinakailangan at least 6 hours, pero malimit. Hindi, pero akin pa salamat na hindi na mababa masyado sa 5 hours. 6. At ako, talagang maganda na ang feeling ko, parang 7 hours ako. Okay. Eat healthy food. Huwag ka nang kumain ng mga junk food. Oh, mga junk food. O kayong mga researchers ko, mga bata pa kayo, kain ng kain sa Jollibee, kain sa McDo, KFC, mga junk food na yan, yung mga nabibili nyo dyan sa kanto. Huwag na. Eat healthy food. Okay? And reduce stress. Pahinga lamang yan. Okay? Stress management is very important. Then, ease back on your activity slowly. If you feel like exercising, start slowly and do what you can do for now. Do not have a strenuous exercise, like lifting weights, like, running so fast. No, don't do that. Walking is the best exercise in the whole world. Walking. Okay? Don't push yourself to return to your normal routine. Slowly, do that slowly. Keep your spirits up. Be positive about yourself. If you can, take time for hobbies or activities that bring you joy. Music, for example. Music. Play table games, chess, Monopoly. All right? Or you have a ping pong table, or you have a pool table. Yun. Okay. Set doable goals. Huwag ka ng goal mo na talagang kayang-kaya mong gawin. It's not that you're gonna push yourself. Yan ang problema ng iba. Yung mga workaholic, they push themselves so much. Listen to your body and go at your own pace. Slow progress is still progress. Okay? Slow progress is still progress. Oh, reach out to family and friends. Talk to your friends. Okay? A prolonged illness can lead to isolation. Connecting with your social network can help you feel less alone. Of course, bilang mga Bible believers, bilang mga anak ng Diyos, very essential was that prayer, worship, praise, Bible reading, devotion. Okay? Why? Because after that long haul you have, you can only have real rest and peace when the Lord Jesus is in your heart and is on your side. And He is always on the side of those that humble themselves and become obedient to Him. All right? Okay. So, let us have the quote of the day brought to you by Peace. Benjamin Franklin said, "An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure." So many times you don't even realize that, no? Pero napakahalaga. Sabi ni Benjamin Franklin, one of the geniuses in the history of the world, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. How do you do that? Follow the protocols. Kung hindi ka pa nagkakaroon ng COVID-19 virus, good for you. Ako po, nagkaroon na po ako. Pero ako'y nagpapasalamat, no? Hindi inalaw ng Panginoon na ako'y magkaroon ng virus na hindi pa ako vaccinated. I was vaccinated 3 weeks before I got the virus. And I really praise God for that, sapagkat sabi ng doktor, kung hindi ka na-vaccinate, sir, baka hindi ka tumagal. Why? Diabetic ako. You know, medyo mataas ng konti yung aking creatinine. Things like this. Pero, you know, I got the virus, nahawa ako, kahit na sinabi ng doktor na pwede ka naman pahinga dyan sa bahay mo, just monitor yourself. Pero sabi ng mga anak ko, sabi ng misis ko, magpa-hospital ka na. So I was brought to St. Luke's, ako'y nagpa-hospital, nanatili ako dyan, binigyan nila ako ng antiviral, talagang tindi, no? Antiviral, antibiotic, lahat na, araw-araw, mayroon akong blood test and everything. And then, after 10 days yata, I was released. Mild. Okay? Saan nakuha yung mild na yan? Of course, because I got vaccinated. Kaya sabi ko, listen to your body. Alright? At kung hindi ka pa nagkakaroon ng virus, just follow the protocols. Face mask. Yung face shield, pwede na natin gawing optional yan. Pero, pag marami kang kausap na tao araw-araw, it's good for you to have face shield. Okay? Social distancing. Hindi lang 1 metro. 2 to 3 meters away. Alright? And you know what? Do not always come near a person that speak a lot. Yung madaldal, wag. Okay? Shut your mouth when you have nothing to say. Shut your mouth when you have nothing to say. Wash your hands. Always take alcohol with you. Sanitizers. Okay, pag uwi mo sa bahay, mag-gargle ka ng lemon, hot water with salt. O kaya naman, meron kang betadine spray, meron kang betadine gargle, meron kang betadol, Bactidol pala. Alright? You should have that. You should have that. Okay? Do your best that you take care of your body. And the best, vaccination. That is the best. Magpabakuna ka. I'm encouraging to this BMA Chronicles na kayo magpabakuna. Ako, ibang mga pagkakataon, kahit mild ako, pagka minsan inaano ko yung katawan ko, yung bang, when I walk, yung bang inoobserbahan ko, padali ba ako mapagod? Hindi, tulad lang dati, okay pa rin You see? Oo. Minsan nahihirapan akong huminga. Bakit? Hyperacidity. Minsan masakit yung puso ko. Bakit? Mayroong angina. Kapag napagod ako, talagang, I work the whole day. Masakit ng katawan ko. Hindi. Bago ako nagka-COVID, masakit na katawan ko palagi. But, be careful. Be careful. Okay. Meron tayong lack of supply na tocilizumab. Ayan. Yung photo dyan. Ang sabi ni Secretary Galvez, yan, importante yan. Napakahalaga niyan, tocilizumab na yan. Tapos, binablock market pa. 75,000 ang halaga. Samantalang nung araw, mga 20,000 lang yan. Matindi. So the National Task Force Against COVID-19 Chief Implementer, Secretary Galvez, sabi niya, maraming ospital are asking for TOSI, but the government cannot procure enough amounts of the medicine. Bakit? Pero ba't marami sa black market? Bakit? Yan ang tanong ko sa Secretary Galvez. Hindi kayo procure ng TOSI. Pero bakit marami sa black market? Padala nyo na yung mga law enforcers natin. Pahuli na yung mga black marketers na yan. Niloloko na yung mga tao eh. Ginagamit ang pandemic na ito para manloko, para maging corrupt. Ay nako, terrible. DOH, umayos kayo ha. Okay. Anyway, dahil na po ito. Baka ano pa masabi ko. Dahil na natin ito mga kaibigan ha. Ito lang po request ko. Please do not forget to like our Facebook pages. Facebook.com/The BMA Chronicles. Follow me at Facebook.com/Benny Abante. And subscribe to my YouTube channel, Benny M. Abante. Please do. Okay? Meron kayong suggestion on any topic, tell us about it. We'll talk about it. Okay? We'll talk about it. Alright? Once again, mga kaibigan, salamat po sa inyong pagkitaka sa akin. Thank you so much for listening and watching this program. We will see you again this coming Friday night for another episode of the Friday BMA Chronicles. Good evening to all of you. May the Lord bless you. Have a good night's sleep. Ciao. Buonanotte and peace. Lang tayo.